love me. Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.
Alright everyone, so we're back with another mod review. So this one I've been trying to put together, and I apologize in advance. Without the ability or without the developers having the spawn codes out there for me to be able to showcase everything, this is going to be very bland. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do it or how this is going to turn out, so I do apologize, but I'm going to give you all the information that I can to the best of my abilities. So one thing I am trying to do right now is, as you know, with all of the mods and everything that are coming to ASA, that mod page still continuously grows day by day. There are a lot of dino overhauls that are actually coming and available on ASA. So I've already shown you guys the Primal Chaos one. This one today we are going to talk about DOX. Now, DOX, anybody who played over on PC ASE, you might have tried it before. I have tried it before. Do I understand it completely? Not really. The cool thing about DOX, though, it is technically, I don't know where it stands as far as hardest dino overhaul mods here on ASA, but over on ASE, it was the probably top, I'd say number one, but maybe we'll say in the top 3 of hardest overhaul mods for ASE. So what we're going to do, so everything that you know about Ark in general, throw it out the window. What you know about taming, what you know about mutations, what you know about breeding and fighting things, and so on and so forth, throw it out the window because it's gone with DOX. So this is a huge dino overhaul. It is not completed, obviously. It is a work in progress. This developer, big shout out to you, but this developer has been probably one of the longest mod developers for Ark, has stuck with it. He didn't abandon everyone and leave a half finished mod or anything like that. So hats go off to him. He does assure everybody he will continue, he or she, I apologize, will continue to provide the same quality service that he has provided on ASE. So I think this is a mod that we can have faith that it's not going to go anywhere. It will continue to develop. It will continue to get better. Before we get started here really quick, because this is not a mod that I completely understand, I do really suggest you join the DOX Discord. They have a lot of information on there and a lot of people who probably are a lot smarter than I am at it. Nonetheless, I have taken some nerdy notes, so do not make fun of me, please. But notes were necessary. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Behind me is an alpha aloe. Again, there's no spawn code, so I had to go out and get him myself. I will not act like it was a lot of work. It was a baby running around and I stole it. So I did not go through all of the hard work, but I wanted something to show you. There he is. There is an alpha aloe. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll probably fly around. We'll look at some of the dinos that might be lying around as I talk and read through all of these notes. But first and foremost, so like I said, everything that you used to know about Ark is no more. Everything is done a bit different. All of the vanilla dinos on the island are here and doxified. And you're probably wondering, what does doxified mean? Well, doxified means that they have taken and they've kind of balanced out the dinos in general. So they're the armored dinos, for example, like the Carboenemus and the Doedicurus, for example. They will take 10% to 20% damage reduction. Agile dinos are going to be slightly faster. And they will have better stamina, and they will recover health better, like heal better. Your tough dinos will be balanced, and they're going to suffer less injury from fatigue buffs. And strong dinos are going to hit harder, carry more, but they're going to lack in recovery, unlike some of those other ones we just mentioned. So that's kind of like what doxified means. Another good tip you guys are all going to want to know as far as doxified goes. So there's a change to the female dinos. I am in creative mode. There is a change to the female dinos. So female dinos will only breed a specific number of times. Whoa. I don't want to go in the water. I'm not very good at this God mode stuff. Meaning, so they can only literally breed so many times before they come sterile. Once they are sterile, their names will have sterile next to it. And this will, they will then receive a 15% damage reduction trait. As written in the DOX notes here, it's because mamas are tough cookies. So there you go. So small dinos will breed between 15 and 45 times. A medium dino is going to breed between 10 and 30 times before becoming sterile. And a large dino is going to be between 3 and 9 times. I was hoping we could just see some dinos that are lying around so we can talk about them. Another tip that you are going to want to know is that if you are breeding large groups of dinos, the breeding limitation in a group is 5, no matter whether it is a female or a male. This is going a little faster than I would have liked. So you need to keep your groups of breeders separated by, it says, about 25 meters. How do you measure that? I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. I have no idea. What's this? This is a turtle. So you can see there's like a little star next to it. This is just like a vanilla, but of course, like I said, these are all doxified. They are changed slightly. So the other thing you want to keep in mind when I had said that things are done a little bit different, you and I are all used to, you find a dino, you find a high-level dino, you breed it, you get your mutations, and you go on to fight bosses and so on and so forth, and that is how you progress in the game. Here is a little bit different. You will get mutations, yes. Taming is done much differently. So the majority of dinos, if not all of them, are done passively. That includes all of the vanilla ones. You do have to be a required level. I think it's about half the level of the dino you are trying to tame, and it does cap out at about level 85 for the player for dinos that are about 150 or higher. So you can walk up to a trike and you just passively can tame it with some kibble or whatever you want. The other thing too is there are different types of traits. So there will be, that one's got a caregiver and baby. You can see lots of different little things when we look in the spyglass that you may question. There's a unique iguanodon. So all of these are tameable, but like I said, they are going to be passive, so it's not like you're used to. I mean, yes, you've had passive ones before. What are these down here? We've got an alpha raptor. So the alphas, since they're right here, we will go ahead and talk about that. So they do give alpha courage. Oh, go away. To any of the dinos that are around of the same type. So it doesn't have to be an alpha, but those are what? Dillos? Were they Dillos? Or raptors? Raptors. So any vanilla raptors or any other raptors in the surrounding area will get that courage boost that the alpha is giving out. So back really quick, I apologize. Again, I have nerdy notes, so I'm trying to look at the screen and look down at my notes, as well as keep things as organized as possible. I feel like I'm not doing a very good job, so I do apologize. So traits. Traits is something that your dinos get. They can be permanent traits. They can be temporary traits. There's wild traits. There's traits that you get from mutating. Temporary traits in general are usually ones that are that you get in battles. So you will get like temporary traits such as like fractured or things like that. Basically, in a nutshell, in very, very small amounts here. You can get 16 in total, like I said, so that's temporary and permanent. So wild dinos can have up to 3 permanent traits, and they are not visible until they're tamed. And Dox likes to use this wording a lot. Through no spyglass trickery can you figure any of this out, okay? So there you go. There's something for you spyglass creators to work on. They are trying to prevent spyglass trickery. I think you guys can make it happen. I'm just joking. There's obviously a reason. It's probably not possible, but hey, I say you developers take on that challenge as far as the spyglass goes. Babies do not gain wild permanent traits until they're adults. So no matter how you acquire the baby, so whether you pick it up like I did, that alpha one, just a wild baby and raise it up, or you hatch it yourself, that you won't see any of those traits until they're fully raised. All right, so you can only ever get 3 permanent traits, and each trait add a stacking, a plus or minus. So you could have, for example, something like a trait that gives 10 plus 10 damage, and then you could get another trait that has like minus 10 damage but plus 10 HP. So then all that dino really is going to equal out, because obviously the plus and minus are going to scratch each other out. It will have like a 10 HP plus boost, for example, if that makes sense. I'm trying to do this as simple as possible. Now, traits can be gained. So like I said, it's not just about breeding and mutations and raising your dinos, but some of these traits are done by actually battling the other dinos. Sorry, flying around and talking is really not easy. I don't know if there's anything. Oh, yeah, there's that guy over here. So yes, from battling dinos. So for example, a heavily favored dino in battle cannot gain any permanent traits. So for example, if I took a Rex and I went out and I beat a Parasaur, the Rex is not going to gain anything from doing that. If my Parasaur was to take out a Rex, that Parasaur will gain some permanent traits based on being able to kill a dino that should be killing them, for example. What's that? Unique Rex. Got some trikes down there. There's a rivalry going on, bleeding. So you can kind of see some of the weird things that go on as far as there's fractured and shocked. So bleeding, the one thing I did read, I don't think I took note of it, but bleeding, the temporary bleeding effect, then will go to shock for another period of time before it all goes away. But again, also these things can be, these traits, temporary traits can be stacked as well. So you could obviously have that fractured times 2. Oh. Hi. You're blending right in with the beach there now, aren't you? Another thing to take note of really quick is the saddles do not provide any armor in DOX. Nope, they do not. There are other ways to go about doing this, at least in ASE, although I didn't really read it on ASA, so I don't know if it is a thing yet. But yes, you will make different armor, or I guess it is armor versus, oh, a wild prime nearby, versus an actual saddle. So they don't, they're not going to provide any armor, but don't you worry, there are other things that you put together in order to get the same effect. So acceleration speed is going to depend on any of the dino types, so it's going to be different. Health regeneration after battle is faster, so about 5 to 8 times the health regen, and the regen start timer is about 5 times longer post the last damage that you took. Dire bears are going to be passively fed, but they aggro if cubs are around, so definitely be careful. Wild parents will receive 20% damage reduction and 10% damage increase, so do not mess with a dino and its family. That's all I can tell you. They do have a slight buff, being a parent and all, and needing to protect their young. So watch yourself. That's, you know, I think that's a pretty cool trait to have. No wild dino levels are going to ever be placed in oxygen. Why is there just gigas and stuff walking around the beaches? Like, that's not normal. Not normal at all. So yeah, no wild dino levels will be placed in oxygen. Instead, they just get a base of 300, which is kind of nice. How many? Ooh, a V Alpha T-Rex, not tameable. Ooh, that's a beast. Let's go take a look. There you go. Also, the DOX dinos will aggro from, like, farther than I've ever seen any dino aggro. So if you ever think, oh, did that dino see me? It probably did, no matter how far away you were. Now, Permanent traits, you can gain up to 3 permanent traits. That's it, okay? So the other way that you can get these traits as well is when you kill alphas or alpha primes as well, you get these genetic strips, which I actually had killed one, so genetic string, I should say, not strips. These can be fed to your dino, so feeding this to any creature will add permanent A traits. It can give negative or positive traits, so I kind of touched on that. Also, if you had this in one of those rhino thingy-majiggers, those giant bugs, however you pronounce their name, it will convert it to resin should you choose to do that as well. So that is an option. As well, the DOX potions as well, right here. You can see I have a regen potion, stamina regen, 25 stamina regen per second, as well as the XP potion. I will go right in here and I will pull up the DOX potions so you can take a look, but they are dropped also. You can make it on your person, but they are also dropped from the alpha dinos as well. So definitely find yourself some alphas, get yourself some kills going on, and start building up your genetic strings so that you can feed them to your dinos to get those traits up, because that's going to be important when it comes to fighting any of these things and progressing to the next steps. So while we are here, because I kind of wanted to get into talking about some of the dinos as we see them and kind of what's different versus your standard regular Ark that we all know and love. So the changes to the carnivores, for example, most are going to be tamed with fertilized eggs. Eggs from lesser tames are going to give a less taming percentage per egg. So every time you, like if I was to, let's say that guy, let's say I was feeding him fertilized eggs. If I am feeding him, let's say fertilized parasaur eggs, each one is going to take down his taming effectiveness. So I suggest going with probably something equal to or greater. Again, I could be wrong. Anybody who watches this that actually plays DOX, you might know better than me, but that's what I am gathering from that information. You can't just go give this guy some fertilized dodo eggs and expect yourself to get yourself good tame out of it. The other thing, it will not accept fertilized eggs for 30 seconds after it kills something. It also stands a chance to stop eating after consuming a lesser egg for 300 seconds and will get a 50% increased target range by doing that. So again, another good reason to stay away from lesser eggs. Don't take your dodo eggs to go tame this guy. They receive a 10% increase to damage as well as damage resistance at full imprint. So once you breed or have some of these guys, for example, and you're raising them up and imprinting them, that you will get a 10% increase to damage as well as damage resistance. Mate Boost will give you a 10% increase to damage and damage resistance. And naturally, it will take 40% less damage from a herbivore. So there you go. Don't go to a gunfight with a sword, so to speak. Don't take your trike to go try to beat a Rex because, like I said, what DOX's idea was to balance this severely. So regular Ark, I could probably get a good trike, level it up. It could be, around for a while, have lots of levels. I throw those levels in, and I could very well probably take out a Rex with that trike. That is not going to be so simple, if possible, at all on DOX because they wanted to do things a little bit different. All right, so next up is the herbivore changes. Oh, there's a Spino. And a Baryonyx and a Carboanimus. Nothing too special here, I guess. Everything's after me, though. Everything's after me. What are you? Raptor. Alright. So we'll talk about the herbivore changes. I don't really see any fancy herbivores kind of stop and look at, except for maybe this guy. He's not fancy, but he's a Bronto. Okay, so most are going to be tamed by hand feeding, like I said. I mean, that is pretty much the way with all of the dinos on DOX. You are going to hand feed, passively tame, whatever you want to call it. So these will be tamed by hand feeding. They're going to receive a 20% increase to... Really? Sorry. Can this stop? Go away. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to focus. They receive a 20% increase on damage and damage resistance on full imprint. So the herbivores are getting a little bit more than the carnos that we just spoke about. Mate boosts will receive 20% increase in damage and damage reduction. Um, while they are at or below 25% health points, there is a 33% chance to trigger the fight or flight and a 50% increased damage for 15 seconds. So they will hit harder for about 15 seconds. That's a herbivore, so watch your back. To hand feed, the player must be half of the level of the dino, like I mentioned earlier in this video, and it is capped at level 85 for dinos above 150. All right, so that is the Carno and herbivore type dino changes, or that are different than probably what we are used to. Next on my list here is the alphas. So we went and you all saw the alpha I had back at base. And we'll talk about kind of the things that they do, or how you do those. So the Rex, Giga, and Spino's Roar will trigger an insight for teamed and allied dinos, increasing the speed by 10%. They get a 20% increase in their base health points and a 5% damage increase. There is a 5% chance, 5% greater chance on mutations when you are breeding them. So that's a thing. There was a fancy trike over by my base. Actually, can we get back there? It's pretty dreary here. I'm going really fast. Really fast. He had a star over him, so he was walking around here. Is that him there? No. He's over here. Is it you? Unique Alpha Trike. Look at that. Can I just walk up to him and give him some simple kibble? Because we could try. I mean, we're right here, and I have simple kibble. Although this is this one of these fancy herbivores? Do I have to do anything fancy? Let's go see. What's he doing? Okay, he's got a star above him. It says I can passive tame. Woo! Look at that. Alright, that was exciting. I didn't think we were going to do that. A unique alpha trike. Look at that. So you can see what's going on. Alpha courage. It's got some traits and stuff going on. Yeah, that's cool. Fancy that. Didn't think I was even going to be in this. Alright, so back to talking about the alphas here now that we are back at base. So, they gain and give courage when around others of the same, which we spoke about. So, an alpha triker is going to give all the trikes in the surrounding area a courage boost. Also, it is recommended that you have one on your own team, obviously for fighting purposes. Self-explanatory. The alphas are more vibrant, so they do stand out a little bit more than maybe the others. They are 50% more base affinity, and egg layers have a 50% chance to birth an alpha. One thing you need to remember, because when I say that, you're probably like, obviously an alpha dino is going to give you an alpha dino. No. Alpha is not a tier. It is a designator of class. So alpha, in DOX terminology, that just means it is the best of its class. It is not its own tier. It just means it's the best. So yes, you will obviously get a higher chance for an egg to hatch an alpha dino. And again, you will not know until it's actually hatched, no matter the spyglass trickery. So there you go. You will not know until it happens. That's just the way things go. All right, so we've got two more things I kind of wanted to touch on very quickly for you guys. Not really quickly because the notes are long. All right, so we've got the 6 alpha special predators. So what are they, you ask? I am going to tell you. So the Giga, the Allo, the Rex, the Spino, the Carco, and the Carca, and the Carno. They use a modified version of the Carca tame. Anyone who's tamed a Carca, you know how that's done. You gotta reduce its health. You gotta throw a corpse down. You gotta jump on the thing's back. You gotta do all this stuff. If I sound like someone who doesn't like to do it, you are right. I find it to be a pain, but actually the one time I did it, it was pretty invigorating. I had a good time doing it, and I wanted to do it again. Did I do it again? No, I didn't. Nonetheless, in a nutshell, if a corpse is 50% of the target tame's weight, a 50% bonus taming effectiveness will apply. We'll stand here and we'll talk. It's important. You must reduce their desire to fight by reducing the target's health down to 50 to 80% of its max HP. This is going to trigger the cuddle animation, allowing you to feed it a corpse. This might take about 1 to 3 times before its desire to always fight is reduced for about 300 to 500 seconds, in which you will get this green glow around their face, and that you will be able to throw down the corpse, and it's going to eat it, and there you go. It did give a tip, so it says you often will need to drag the corpse directly under the target before it takes interest. Once the cuddle animation starts, drag the corpse from under the target, drop it, and get the hell out of the way. The friendship mode, so that is, I'm assuming after he eats the corpse, he is going to be in something called the friendship mode, in which you would be getting on its back, I'm assuming, to ride it around. That is for about 230 to 360 seconds. Also, side note, if you get knocked off the dino while you are doing that, you will only need to take its health down one more time to get the glowing effect. So you won't have to potentially try to do it 3 times. You'll get it for a first turn around. All right, so that's pretty much it for the alpha special predators that they have. I do believe they have more to come on that list, potentially, maybe in the near future, possibly. The other one, really quick, is the alpha passive tames. So they're passively hand-fed, but players must be level 50 in order to do it. So 50, before you can even think about it. Greater passive alphas. Greater passive alphas are bears, the Charlie, that Charlie, the cow-looking thing that you feed with beer. I can't pronounce it. Charlie, that one. The mammoth, the Quetzal, the trike, the rhino, the bronto, and the stego. Those are your greater passive alphas. Okay? They will become aggressive when you enter their territory, which can be anywhere from about 10 to 50 meters. So you want to stay anywhere from 50 to 90 meters away and not any further than 100 from the target. After some time of you being away, they will give some sort of a cuddle animation and a visible green star to show you that you can feed, which we actually saw with this trike. So we actually just did this. And I didn't even realize. Look at that. That's wicked. So yeah, we literally did that. We saw that we were away from him. And that's what it's implying. You stay away from it. The green star will come up above its head. You will go over to it. You will feed it. And then it says, I have my settings boosted a bit, so I don't know if that would have tamed on just one kibble for anybody else. In the event it doesn't, what happens is you feed it that. It will give you an animation to let you know he wants you to get away from him. He doesn't want you to be around him anymore. It is a startled animation followed by an attack animation, and you have 8 to 10 seconds to hightail it the hell out of there. You will stay out of its territory, watch it, and pretty much rinse and repeat. Once that star comes back, you will head back in, you'll do your thing, you will get the hell out. That's the way that it works. Now, there are some other things in this mod that we did not talk about, like wild primes and megas. They are dangerous. Wild primes cannot be tamed. They give you great loot, though. But you are basically working these dinos to be able to get up to be able to fight those megas. And for megas, there will be alert on your screen and a countdown. It'll say there are megas in the nearby area, and I think they stay for 30 minutes, if my memory serves me correctly. For you to if you're in its vicinity, it'll be there for 30 minutes, give you a chance to fight it should you choose. And you get some pretty good rewards for doing that. Last but not least, I wish I had one, but due to the lack of spawn commands, I don't have one to show you, but there is something called Pygmies, and this is what I wanted to kind of touch on. Now, while I have a Pygmy, it's not a DOX Pygmy, but I guess it's kind of the same idea. It's going to be like a little mini shoulder pet. That's what a Pygmy is, so we'll pretend this is my Pygmy. These Pygmies also come with traits. These traits, while you have it on your shoulder, are going to add to the traits of your dino as well. So this is kind of how you progress in the game. You are going to evolve your dinos as you go. That's a little complicated, but you will get there. But that's pretty much what you're doing. You're evolving some of these dinos, like your alpha. You can evolve into an alpha prime, and that's kind of the progression. So you want to do stuff like that. You want to get yourself a good Pygmy. You want to evolve that Pygmy, make it even better. You want to evolve your dinos, make it better. You want to breed them. You want to get the mutations. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you, you do not stand any chance on DOX. DOX is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun on DOX back in my ASE days. A lot of fun. But it can be very frustrating. It can be very sad. You can get a really good, the one dino that I got that I thought I was doing well was the Manticore. I'm flying in the air. Everything's good. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I felt like I was actually making progress in the game. Like, now I'm at the stage where I can't be beat. In DOX, that's never the case. You can always be beat. And by beat, I mean one shot killed out of the sky. Beat. You're kind of aggressive, aren't ya? Wow. Alright. Okay, so everyone, that's pretty much it. I hope I was able to touch on as much information as I possibly could. Like I said, all of the information is available to you on their Discord. They have some really great people, of course, for any questions. Again, if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments section. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. And this is definitely a mod I have always vowed to want to come back to and actually beat. I actually forgot to mention, one of the great things about this mod is you can earn yourself onto the Hall of Fame should you beat this. However, there are rules to this. You cannot do it in a cheaty manner. There are certain rules like cryo balls, death recovery mods. Like, you are not allowed to have these things. If you want to earn yourself a spot on that Hall of Fame, which who knows, maybe someday I'll land myself on there. I don't know. But that's one thing that is a challenge for all of you. I'd like to see all of your names be able to be on there someday. That would be great, but that is an option. You beat the mod depending on the difficulty. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the settings up in the corner here. Hopefully it works because I've already set it. But it is going to correspond to how difficult you want your gameplay to be. I believe there are 4 different difficulty levels, so I will go ahead and put that up on the screen right here so you can take a look at how you want to set your server, and you will earn yourself on the Hall of Fame for each level, each difficulty should you choose, or not, whatever. But again, I do appreciate everybody for all of the support, all of the motivation, all of the comments, all of the likes, all the subscribes. We are a little more than 30 away from the 1,000 subscriber mark. I again really appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to, feel free to join the Discord. I will leave it in the description of the video below. As well as we do have some Ark ASA servers, so if you are interested in joining any of the ASA servers that we currently have, definitely join the Discord, and we'll let you know how you can join. Again, one more time, I thank each and every one of you, and I will see you all in the next one.